I have a phone that's kind of at least until the S7 comes, this is going to be my phone. And it's kind of a offbeat choice. This comes from a company that was a little Kickstarter project called Nextbit. They were founded by one of the designers of one of my favorite phones from years gone by, the HTC One. He and two guys from Google Android, including one of the top developers at Android, left to form their own company, Nextbit. They raised capital from venture capitalists, and then they went to Kickstarter and raised a few million more. I got in on the Kickstarter early for what they call the Robin. The Robin just arrived this week. And you could tell that the company is run by a designer because it is a designer phone. And I don't mean flashy at all. I mean kind of aesthetically very pleasing. There were two colors. There's a midnight blue, and I got the mint, which really I think of as robin's egg blue since the phone is called the Robin. It kind of looks like a robin's egg blue. Soft plastic. It's not metal. The soft finish plastic. It's got hard square edges. I kind of like it. And they did some things that I agree with. They have, like the HTC One, front-facing speakers. That gives you good audio. Not super loud, but at least good audio. Separate amplifiers for both speaker. The fingerprint reader is interesting. By the way, I'm not going to buy a phone from now on that doesn't have a fingerprint reader. That is really a great convenience in unlocking the phone. Theirs is on the on-off switch. And I kind of like that because it means it's one touch to turn it on and then unlock it. So it's a very natural feeling. Perhaps not as, maybe not quite as useful as the Google Nexus phones, which have a fingerprint reader on the back. That's what LG is going to do too. That's very natural as you're holding the phone to put your finger on the fingerprint reader. But it's pretty close. And I do find it better than Samsung's choice, which is to have it on the physical home button at the bottom of the screen. You have to touch that. That's a little bit more ungainly. The other thing I love about the Robin, besides the design, is it's pretty pure Android. I think nowadays that's important. With one weird exception. It only comes in one size, 32 gigabytes of storage. And there's no SD card. But what it does also come with is 100 gigabytes of online storage. And if your phone gets low on storage, it will upload not just pictures and data, but actually apps that you don't use very often, and it'll upload them to the cloud. And the icon will get grayed out when it's not on the phone. And then when you hit that icon to run that application, it'll take a little while as it re-downloads it from the cloud. I think that's kind of silly. I guess they needed something to differentiate them. And for some people, this is a problem, although nowadays with Google Photos and other solutions, I don't worry about filling my phone up with pictures anymore. Google Photos will upload those pictures and delete them. So I have access to them in the Google Photos app, but I don't have to worry about using storage. So that's less important than it used to be, but they needed some secret sauce. The other thing I like is they chose to do a relatively, for nowadays, low-res screen. It's only a 1080p screen. Now, for a phone like this, which is 5.1 inches, that's plenty of resolution, but it helps a lot with battery life. And yes, I've been getting 18 hours. I'm very happy. I can get through the day on this. 16 hours, which makes me very happy. And it's $400 unlocked, available for all the major carriers in the U.S. and probably around the world too. The Nextbit Robin. It's kind of you know what? It's not going to be a huge seller. You're probably not going to see a lot of them in the wild. You may not even hear about it after this review, but I've been very happy with it. And you could tell a designer had something to do with it. Type-C connector. Just feels kind of nice in the hand. It's a nice phone. And for $400, I mean, that's about not quite half what the Samsung Galaxy S7 is. Oh, and a decent camera. I think is it 16 megapixels? I can't remember. 13 megapixels. Decent camera with a dual color flash. You know, pretty much that's kind of the standard now. The S7, on the other hand, might be an amazing camera. I can't wait to get that because they've made it a very low light camera. 12 megapixels, which means big dots. That means more light comes in. And a very fast lens, an f1.7 lens, which is the fastest on a phone out there. That's going to be a beast, but at $700 or $800, it's going to be an expensive beast. This would be a phone for most people. Most people will be very happy with the Nextbit Robin. I like the feel of it, and doesn't look like any other phone out there. It's kind of interesting.